What's up, guys? So here's a story of an experience that I had working in the fitness industry, which contributes to why I say 99% of the fitness industry is terribly toxic, and my mission is to break the wheel and to break the cycle. So years ago, I used to work for a big gym. I'm not going to mention the name of it because there's a lot of amazing people that still work there and do amazing things, so they shouldn't be, guilty by association for any of this. But when I was working there, we had to go down to the corporate head office for a big meeting with the director of training for the whole company. There's like 30 locations. We went down and there's like 150 trainers there for the meeting. Everybody was gathered, and this director of training started off by being personable, telling stories and jokes, and he had mentioned how he had just recently gotten back into eating a strict diet and doing CrossFit and getting back in shape. That was one of the first things that he had mentioned. And then he went through everything that he was teaching us, and essentially the lesson that he was trying to teach us in that moment for the training was that when you are doing a personal training session, you need to keep that person as busy as possible for that entire hour to keep them moving from one thing to the next, so that their heart rate's jacked up and they're sweating as much as possible for two reasons. One, to give them the experience that you're pushing them hard. And then two, the point that he was trying to hammer home hard was that you've got 1 hour of a training session to work with a client, maybe 2 or 3 times per week. But outside of that, you have no control, and chances are the clients aren't going to do any of the things that you ask them to do. They're not going to stick to their diet. They're not going to do the extra assignments that you give them. So you have to just crush them as much as you possibly can during the session and be as personable as you possibly can to give them results and keep them connected, because essentially they're too lazy and undisciplined to actually stick to the rest of the diets and stuff that you give them. That was the main lesson. And that's what really hit me hard, was that, hey, guys, your clients aren't going to do anything that they're supposed to do. They're not going to be able to do it on their own. You have to crush them. Whatever, no big deal. That's your feelings on what you're assigning them. But that stood out to me, was that the assumption was that nobody's actually going to stick to a plan that you give them. Cool. So then he steps to the side, and the next person comes up to teach their thing. And the guy steps over, and he pulls out a bag and something that looks like a wrapped burrito, and he starts eating. And I noticed it immediately. And so did my good friend sitting next to me, because he nudged me and he was like, "Do you see what is happening right now?" The director finished what he was talking about how you're going to give your clients healthy eating, but chances are they just can't stick to the healthy eating program that you give them. Steps to the side, pulls out a plain baked chicken breast and a bag of plain spinach. And he starts eating the spinach plain out of the bag like it's a bag of chips, and eating a plain baked chicken breast. It's probably 8-10 ounce breast. It was big. He was just eating it like a burrito. After telling us, you're going to give a healthy eating program to a client, there's no way they're going to stick to it just because they simply won't do it. After talking about how he is now on a very healthy, strict eating plan and getting back in shape, and a room of 150 trainers where 90% of them were nodding and agreeing, yeah, absolutely. You're going to tell them how to eat healthy and they're not going to stick to it, and we're all eating healthy, eating a plain chicken breast and bag of spinach, plain, straight up, as if that's healthy, as if that's what you need to do. And that's what he's assigning people, and then he's somehow superior because they can't stick to it. What human being in their right mind would be happy eating chicken breast and broccoli straight up? And is it, a crime to add some sort of seasoning? And is there any other way to eat healthy? I'm sure there's a million other ways to get to your end goal. And it really stuck out that everybody agreed that this is what you need to do to eat healthy, and you're going to assign to your clients and they won't do it. That was one of the things that really struck me, as we have to do a better job of how we're helping people. Because on paper, eating all vegetables and baked chicken is probably a wonderful strategy, but in practice, it sounds miserable. And if you have to give up all of your quality of life and just eat plain chicken and spinach every day in order to lose some weight, that's really not worth the trade. And that moment stuck out because that behavior was repeated from that group of people over and over and over again. Your clients simply can't stick to a healthy eating plan. Healthy eating is eating chicken and spinach all day, every day to get ripped and shredded. And if you want to look ripped and shredded like me, you have to do this, but you can't because you're weak. That was the whole message and the whole takeaway. And I was like, man, these people have a really unhealthy relationship with food, fitness, and clearly with their clients. And that stuck with me. That's why we do the programs, so that we don't have to deal with any of that bullshit.